بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها النبي إذا طلقتم النساء فطلقوهن لعدتهن وأحصوا العدة واتقوا الله ربكم لا تخرجوهن من بيوتهن ولا يخرجن إلا أن يأتين بفاحشة مبينة وتلك حدود الله ومن يتعد حدود الله فقد ظلم نفسه لا تدري لعل الله يحدث بعد ذلك أمرا فإذا بلغن أجلهن فأمسكوهن بمعروف أو فارقوهن بمعروف وأشهدوا ذوي عدل منكم وأقيموا الشهادة لله ذلكم يوعظ به من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر ومن يتق الله يجعل له مخرجا ويرزقه من حيث لا يحتسب ومن يتوكل على الله فهو حسبه إن الله بالغ أمره قد جعل الله لكل شيء قدرا واللائي يئسن من المحيض من نسائكم إن ارتبتم فعدتهن 3 أشهر واللائي لم يحضن وأولاة الأحمال أجلهن أن يضعن حملهن ومن يتق الله يجعل له من أمره يسرا ذلك أمر الله أنزله إليكم ومن يتق الله يكفر عنه سيئاته ويعظم له أجرا أسكنوهن من حيث سكنتم من وجدكم ولا تضاروهن لتضيقوا عليهم وإن كن أولات حمل فأنفقوا عليهن حتى يضعن حملهن فإن أرضعن لكم فآتوهن أجورهن وأتمروا بينكم بمعروف وإن تعاسرتم فسترضع له أخرى لينفق ذو سعة من سعته ومن قدر عليه رزقه فلينفق مما آتاه الله لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا ما آتاها سيجعل الله بعد عسر يسرا وكأين من قرية عتت عن أمر ربها فحاسبناها حسابا شديدا فحاسبناها حسابا شديدا وعذبناها عذابا نكرا فذاقت وبال أمرها وكان عاقبة أمرها خسرا أعد الله لهم عذابا شديدا أعد الله لهم عذابا شديدا فاتقوا الله يا أولي الألباب الذين آمنوا قد أنزل الله إليكم ذكرا رسولا يتلو عليكم آيات الله مبينات رسولا يتلو عليكم آيات الله مبينات ليخرج الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات من الظلمات إلى النور ومن يؤمن بالله ويعمل صالحا يدخله جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها أبدا قد أحسن الله له رزقا الله الذي خلق 7 سماوات ومن الأرض مثلهن يتنزل الأمر بينهن لتعلموا أن الله على كل شيء قدير وأن الله قد أحاط بكل شيء علما.
As the gender war rages on, in order to keep the peace, we must discuss the exact facts. Welcome to Exactly. I'm your host, Saudi Imam. Remove your shoes and enter upon your right foot, upon the right state of mind, bi'idhnillah. Topic: men are optional. Husbands and fathers are not. Men are optional. Husbands and fathers are not. You hear in the modern day era, I don't need a man, I only want a man. This only can be said in the modern day era because in the past men were very much needed, which exceeds want. Men were very much needed, which exceeds want, because it was a matter of survival. So today, because of the modern conveniences, they say, I don't need a man, I only want a man. Okay? Even there's another adage that seems to be very negative. It says, I can do bad all by myself, as if a man only brings bad. But again, that's a modern convenience. That's a modern term, because in the past, men they went out hunting, they brought back sustenance. Okay? Men, when there was a threat of an outside force disturbing livelihood and tribalhood, then men would go out and fight and put their lives on the line in order to protect what was back home. That's what happened. Okay? But nevertheless, because of modern day conveniences, people can say, I don't need a man, I only want a man. And there was no time except like today, like the present, where someone can say that and be taken seriously. Okay? Because of the modern day infrastructure that men overwhelmingly built, 99% of this infrastructure, along with its maintenance, is by men. Now, if you don't believe me, go by any construction site, count the number of men on the site, then count the women. I'm not saying secretarial and things like that. Secretarial is not infrastructure. That's called logistics. That's organizing. But I'm saying, like, look at the number of men on that site. Look at those that are building skyscrapers. How many women are falling from those skyscrapers, slipping and falling and killing and dying, not killing themselves, but dying off those skyscrapers. Women tend not to choose those difficult, dangerous jobs. And that's no fault of their own. They're not, Allah didn't build them for it. Allah did not build them for it. So because of the modern infrastructure, people say, I don't need a man, I only want a man. So because modern day, many modern day women, not all, many modern day women say, I don't need a man, I only want a man, then if these women are indeed believing women, Muslim women, then it begs to the question begs to be asked, to marry or not to marry. To marry or not to marry. Now, Islamically, it is to be said that every woman should be married. Islamically, Allah says, Mathna wa thulatha wa ruba', 2, 3, or 4. Okay? So, this is to assure that every woman has a husband, not that every man has more than one wife. But they tend to meld or melt into each other. So, this marry or not to marry, long ago, again, it was a necessity. Today, it's a leisure or a choice today. Now, many ulama stated, the difference of opinion, but many ulama stated that if you feel that you may make zina, then, your marriage becomes obligatory upon you, But if you don't feel like you will make zina, then it's just recommended for you. And this is stated by many of our famous ulama. Okay? So, to marry or not to marry, that is the question. That is totally up to the individual in this day and time. But Muhammad Sallam said the marriage is nisf. I think the term used in Bil Arabi is nisf. It's a part or half of your deen. So fear Allah in the other half. After you marry, still fear Allah in the other half. Marriage itself won't do it for you. Marriage itself won't do it for you. So once a person has the inclination, even if they don't need a man, they only want a man. Once a woman develops that inclination, then nikah is the natural order. Nikah becomes the natural order. Wedding. The wedding, marriage, becomes the natural order. Islam defines a woman, based on the social system of Islam, it defines a woman as a daughter and or sister. Then she becomes a wife. Then she becomes a mother. That is the Islamic pattern. She's born a daughter, and if she has siblings, she's a sister. Then she becomes a wife. Then she becomes a mother. But even within our own Muslim ummah, this is not always the pattern. People are having that need. They don't need a husband, but they want one. Or they don't need a man, but they want a man, so they pick any man, sleep with that man, kafir or Muslim. Okay? Then they procreate with that man, so on and so forth. So they throw off the pattern. They throw off the pattern of daughter and or sister, wife, mother. They throw off the pattern. They throw off the pattern. And that is how the social system of Islam is organized. Now, if you see a woman with a child, that child is legitimate. Anytime you see a woman with a child and you don't know their situation or her situation, that child is legitimate. You don't ask, oh, were you and the father married before y'all? You don't ask stupid questions like that. It's none of your business. It's none of your business. Okay? Whatever was beyond your ability to comprehend, to know, to be a witness to, that's not your business. Okay? So you would take it that this child with this person is their legitimate offspring. You see a man with a child. Okay? You have to assume that that he was married to the mother, at the time of conception. You got to assume that. Okay? That's the way Islam works. That's part of avoiding suspicion and doubt. So again, even if you say I don't need a man, I want a man, the natural progression is nikah. Natural progression is marriage. Okay? And once nikah is agreed upon, nikah means to enter. Sex is implied in nikah. If sex is desired, then you must make nikah in order to enter her. You must make nikah in order to enter her. So, because this is the natural pattern. Men are optional, okay? But if you want to become a wife, you have to have a husband. You can't just be a wife to some bum dude that hangs on the street corner all day drinking 40s. You got to actually be a wife to a husband. That means you have to go through the process of nikah and the aqd zawaj, the marital contract. Okay? Now, if children are a result of this nikah, you entered her and children came from it, now that man is beyond your husband. He's the father of your children. Now there's a bond that's higher, on a higher plane than even marriage. That bond is on a higher plane than even marriage. Now you all are parents to a child. A child that needs sustenance, yes, but needs guidance, yes. And when they become older and older, they become in need of your advice and experience and your wisdom, your knowledge, okay? So that is on a higher plane than just marriage. So let me start over. Men are optional. You can have a man or not have a man. But if you desire to cohabitate with a man and a man with a woman, it goes both ways. But men are not saying I don't need a woman, only want a woman. Men are not saying that. So I have to address it from where it's generally said, from who generally says it. Okay? So men are optional, so you can have a man or not have a man. But if you want to be provided and protected by a man that's a non-mahram, then you have to have a husband. And if you want to make jama', you want to make intimacy, you want him to enter you, then that requires nikah. And the aqd zawaj, the marital contract. Okay? And now he is a husband, and husbands are not optional. What husbands do is provide and protect. What husbands do is allow you your generations to multiply and perpetuate. That's what husbands do. Random dudes can do it too. Okay, random dudes can do it too. But you say you love your children. You say you love children, you would love your children, you would die for your children, but you won't marry before you have children? I don't understand that. I don't understand people that love their child. Man, I love my child so much, and I love my child, but they don't even take the time to make a simple marriage contract. They don't take the time to run the guy by their father, their uncle, their brother, and say, hey, look, this is somebody I'm thinking about, marrying, That's what it is. It's very simple. Islam made it very simple. So you can say how much you love your children, but once you become a wife to a husband, that optional man is not an option anymore. That means you have to make nikah. You're in a contract of nikah with him. You have to make nikah. You have to let him enter you. And if you are, if you are disturbed, if you are grossed out, if you are perturbed by men or by your husband, then get out of the nikah. Because as long as you're in the nikah, then he can be inside of you. That's the way it works. And if that nikah results in a child, he's now a father. And that's on a higher plane than marriage itself. So yes, men are optional because of the modern day conveniences that we have today. If all men died, women would live shorter than their natural life expectancy because infrastructure will go down. They'll be lighting candles pretty soon. There's not enough women to maintain the infrastructure, the power grids and stuff like that. So they will die quite a bit before their life expectancy because you'll be back to the, you'll be going backwards in technology. Not enough women to maintain the infrastructure. Yeah, there'll be some pockets of places if they all gather that they can keep things going, but it's going to be dog eat dog until they kill each other. And because men are already building the skyscrapers and maintaining infrastructure and controlling the power grids and keeping those up and stuff like that, because men are still over the railroads and things like that, majority of men, 99.9% of men are the truck drivers and things like that, the things that move product. And because men are doing that, men will live into their natural life expectancy. They will live into their natural life expectancy, but women would not because everything would break down and they'll be lighting candles pretty soon within a couple of years, So with that being said, men are optional because of the modern day conveniences. And really, after what I just said, it doesn't seem like they're too optional. But your personal man is optional, maybe. But husbands are not. Because husbands bring provision and protection, okay? And the intimacy factor. And if through that intimacy children are had, then what happens? He's a father now. And that's a higher plane than marriage. Not optional. Not optional. Not optional. There's a difference of opinion whether you could have all those electronic devices and try to satisfy yourself. Nothing's like a man. They don't make a me. Wala fakhra, not to sound arrogant, but they don't make a me with a battery in the back. They don't make a me, So if you want a me, a better, you gotta, you gotta make yourself wife worthy so you could have that husband. Make yourself mom worthy so you can have those children and raise good, healthy children. And he should be father ready, husband ready, and then father ready. And that's how it should be. And this was short. It was a freestyle, bars. So with that, I guess I'll move on to the delusional dating profile of the week. You know what? I'm missing something. You know that? I'm missing something. I'm missing an overlay. I don't know why I'm missing an overlay. I'm missing an overlay. Let me go back. I'm missing an overlay. Why am I missing an overlay? Let me see. Overlays. There we go. I'm missing my Amu Yum Yum overlay. I really don't need it for this particular program. But let's go on to the delusional dating profile of the week. Now, which one should I do? Should I do Princess? I think I did Princess Fantasy. Let me see. Did I do this one? No, I didn't do Abigail. Okay. Let's go with Abigail. Abigail. What is that? What's that on that picture? Okay, anyway. Abigail. Okay. Our delusional dating profile is Abigail. Abigail is 28. Okay, Abigail's 28. And Abigail says, an unforgettable vibe. To who? To who? To who? Unforgivable to who? Unforgettable to who? Mommy times 2. She has 2 children. And see, because Abigail is 28, the children are very young. I imagine at the oldest 10, but maybe even younger than that, But nevertheless, unforgettable vibe. And that's not, I couldn't measure that for myself. Man, my vibe is unforgivable. I keep saying forgivable, forgettable. My vibe is unforgettable. You know, I couldn't measure that for myself. That's for the buyer. That's for the market to decide. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. No problem, Yahi. No problem. I got some stuff, man. I want to talk to you about it. But I'm gonna do an intro video, inshallah. If not tonight, tomorrow I'll do an intro video. I got a new thing, some YouTube shorts that's about to come out, inshallah. Kind of young Abigail. Yeah. She's young. Unforgettable vibe. Mom of 2. Yeah. See. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that. Okay. I'll make time if I feel my time won't be wasted. See that? She'll make time if I feel. Okay, how do you know? After the first meetup, you know, if everything went, you know, copacetic, then maybe the next one you'll say, well, I think I'm wasting my time. But how would you know if you're going to waste your time if you never met? I'll make time if I feel my time won't be wasted. Because a lot of them say, basically, they're married to their job. I'm a workaholic, but I'll make time for somebody that deserves it. Okay, if you're a workaholic, you know, that's like saying I'll stop drinking for somebody that deserves it. I'll stop popping pills for somebody that deserves it. I'll stop shooting heroin in my arm for somebody that deserves it. I'll stop smoking meth for somebody that deserves it. That's like the same language, you know. If you're a workaholic, you're addicted to your job. You're addicted to obeying your boss, which means that you won't obey your husband. I mean, I could, if I'm wrong, let me know. Women that obey their bosses don't obey their husbands because they're not going to go to 2 different buildings in one day. One being their workplace, other being their home, and be obedient. You know, they're not going to do 2. They pick one God, one Lord, one husband, and those are sometimes 3 different entities. You know, the God and the Lord are separated, and the husband is, you know, doesn't even deserve that title. You know, well, he's not even given the respect of that title. Put it like that. So Jawad said that's too funny. Her husband is not a priority if she's a workaholic. Yeah. Her boss is who she respects. Okay, so. Not your next sneaky link. Swipe left. Take me on a date. Good food and genuine conversation. Okay? Who doesn't love to be spoiled? Princess treatment only. Okay, now I gotta go there. Raise your hand if you ever met a princess with 2 kids. That's not married. A princess with 2 kids, not married. See, that doesn't exist. That does not exist. Not even Meghan Markle. She's not a princess, but you know, not even Meghan Markle, you know. Not even Princess Diana, you know. I mean, Jawad says, I have heard about a similar phenomenon where some sisters overpraise certain speakers. Yeah. And you being a husband, they'll listen to certain speakers before they listen to you. Well, that's not what Imam such and such said. That's not what Sheikh such and such said. Why don't you shake your butt over there to Sheikh such and such? Disrespect me in my own house. That dude don't put nothing on his rent. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Message me first. Let's see where it goes. Message me first. Let's see where it goes. I should have had more details about her. You know, I didn't have a lot of detail, or as much detail as. Yeah, I really should have put a picture up because I think. Let me see something. I think something. Let me see what is. If it snaps something to mind. I'm thinking Horseface. I'm not sure. I'm thinking Horseface, but I could be wrong. And that's not an insult. Many of us love horses. That is not an insult. Many of us love horses. Okay. I am waiting for a Disney on this plot, the princess with 2 kids. Maybe Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Now, Snow White and the two bastards. Snow White and the two bastards. See, Jawad started that. See, I tried to be nice. Jawad started that. Nevertheless, uh, yeah, Abigail. Abigail 28. Unforgettable vibe. Mommy of two. Then she said she want the princess treatment. Well, see, Louis C.K. said weddings are all about making a woman feel like a princess for a day. Thousands of dollars to show off and try to make her feel like a princess for a day. None of them dudes before you, the dude that broke the hymen, the dude that dropped the babies up in her, none of them was a prince. But you got to be a prince just to take her on a date and waste your money. If she feels like you won't waste her time. What about my money? Wasting your time, what about my money? If I take you on a date, traditionally you want me to pay, you know, more than not, 99.9% of the time. And my money doesn't mean anything to you. Your time. You wasted my time. Well, you had your time wasted twice. And you had to wait 40 weeks for each one. So you had your time wasted the night that you conceived. And then 40 weeks after that, you had your time wasted. And until them kids are old enough to get out on their own, 18, 21, 30, whatever they are, to get out on their own, you got all that time wasted too. Don't talk about my kids. My kid, I love my kids with all my... Well, okay, why didn't you get married? Back to the subject. Why didn't you get married before you had your kids? Since you love them so much. Since you love them so much, why didn't you dignify them with a stable home, a nuclear family, husband and wife, balance? Yeah, but you love them. I ain't gonna debate you how much you love your kids. I just say the proof is in the pudding. Princess for used goods. That doesn't sound right. That's what Jawad said. It's the white dress supposed to signify purity and virginity. I heard in the past it was actually green. It's either green or blue that signified purity. I don't know what white signified. Black was always bad, but I think it was green or blue that signified purity. But in the modern day era, white signified virginity in the modern day era, and stuff like that. But I think in the past it was green or blue. I'm not even sure. I think blue. I'm gonna say blue, because green would have stuck with me if it was green, because I know that's a sunnah color. Some love that color, and Allah Ta'ala, heaven is adorned with those colors. So Jawad says, is she one of those women who will manifest a husband? Hocus pocus. Heavy on the hoe. Hocus pocus. Heavy on the hoe. That's how you manifest. It's almost like magic. If I think of a husband hard enough, it's like a 3D printer. That's sad, man. That's sad. Anyway, leave Abigail alone. I'm thinking horse face. And people love horses. Horses are nice, strong animals and very useful. Anyway, that's all that I have for this week. Inshallah, I'm going to get on these YouTube shorts, man, and see what I can do. Inshallah ta'ala. But this has been your brother, Saad Imam for X Factly. Tune in next week. Inshallah, I got a good one. Inshallah ta'ala. I missed last Sunday, and I end up doing it that Monday or that Tuesday. I forgot I did it during the day. I'm doing a basketball court in the backyard for my children, and man, that heat, it's been over 100 degrees for the last couple of weeks, and that heat, it's been at least 100, but it's been over 100 most days, 108, stuff like that. So I've been having heat exhaustion. So when I finish working on the yard, the basketball court, I come inside, and I'm gonna show y'all pictures, inshallah. But I come inside, and then I said, oh man, I gotta do the show, and I didn't have the energy for it. I mean, I did not have the energy for it. So make dua for me that I can finish. I'm kind of in a deficit. As a work drought because you know, different factors. I'm gonna get into that. Different factors, but inshallah, it comes around, cycles, repeat customers, referrals, and things like that. So it comes back around. It's got to be patient and make dua. But nevertheless, I'll see you on the next one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.